Tony, 19 assists on the 23 field goals. Are you happy with the way the offense is executing?
Yeah,
these
I think
first 2 games.
Yeah, you know, Norfolk State was switching between man-to-man and zone, and obviously to move the ball the way they did, and guys, when their feet are set, hands ready, we want them to shoot those with confidence, and especially if it touches the high post. So, of course, you look at that, and you like those numbers. So I thought that was obviously important. And then even defensively, I thought we were solid to start. I think it affected Norfolk State. They didn't have their good interior player. He's good. I remember him from his freshman year in the NIT, I believe, and that affected them. The young man, Jeff Short, was obviously hitting some tough shots and sort of keeping them in it. We just kept talking about make them earn. But the unselfishness defensively and offensively is always going to be important for us, and that showed in that statistical category.
Tony, typically a team that wins a championship has some sort of banner-raising ceremony. Was that a conscious decision on your part not to have any sort of celebration? Or anything? I was just curious if that was.
I didn't hear that. I didn't really. That's the first I thought about it. I mean, it's up there. They put it up there, and they're not taking it away, so that's good enough for me. So happy about that. But I didn't even. I don't know if they do that or not. It's too late now, so we're good. But that wasn't a conscientious decision. But I don't think I would have. That would have been something we would have done with our guys maybe in the spring or together.
Tony, obviously you guys were very effective shooting the 3, especially early. Did you get those looks out of the inside out that you had been talking about, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it was just ball movement, guys touching the paint, whether it was penetration, making the next pass, and rhythm shots. So, again, that's you know, again, whether it was the zone, a couple were in the man-to-man, but an unselfish next pass approach was good, and to see those go in was certainly encouraging. And we had them, I think, you know, chasing a little bit. So you have to, when you get those, you don't always have to take the first one, and that's what I kind of like. They sometimes pass one up to even get a better one, and then that certainly opened it up for us.
Tony, following on that, how do you foresee this team as far as three-point shooting team? You guys are shooting pretty well.
In that game, you know, we're not a heavy three-point shooting team, but in a game like that where there's a lot of zone and it's condensed in, or there's some real rhythm looks, well, then take them. But I think our identity will be a good balance and an inside-outside approach, and it will be determined also by how the team's playing you. But some of those you had to take because they were just, we say, two-eyed, room and rhythm threes. And, again, when you take them with balance, feet set, obviously the percentages go up for us. And I think that it was good to see. You know, it was spread out when you saw even, well, Justin shot it well again, but Malcolm London, Marielle, so Evan hit one. So, yeah, that's good, just enough to keep you guys honest.
So, Tony, that's dictated by how they're playing you, and any concern on your part that you guys are going to – you've converted so many so well so far.
Yeah, no, we'd be a mistake if we fall in love with a three-point shot. You have to – good basketball, the ball has to rotate. It has to touch the paint, off the dribble, off the post up. I think that's a strength of ours. And then, you know, depending upon what's on the backside of that, that's when you make your decisions. But zones are a little more there, and I thought we got played more man-to-man against JMU, and I think we took 7 threes. So, but, yeah, you're always – guys fall in love with that, that's for sure. So you got to be mindful of that.
A lot of young players. Did you have to give them a little bit of a history lesson on Norfolk State, which is giving you some problems?
Yeah, no, I told them that last year. You know, it was a tight game with 3 minutes left. They have some good players. It's a team that's certainly been in the NIT NCAA tournament, and you know, we use the term in the pregame. We said no prancing and dancing. We said it's your home opener. You came off of a road win. Now you're here, though we didn't have the banner raising ceremony that Mark wanted us to have. We said no prancing and dancing, and we just said you just get straight to work and don't try to, you know, be anything but who you have to be. And that was the approach, and I thought they responded to that pretty well in this setting. And that's, you know, to get guys, teams, even the really good ones, to accept that it's a grind, it's a blue-collar, as we say, a possession approach. That's hard. I think sometimes they want to be a spurt team, and we can't afford that as we move forward.
Toby looked a little more locked in tonight mentally than he had been in Harrisonburg. Were you happy?
Yeah. Well, I think I told him he set the record for fouls per minute in a game in JMU, but sometimes in your first game, getting a feel and that thing, I was glad to see that he settled in. more, and some of that's just getting a feel for, again, officials, the pace of the game, and he was certainly more. He didn't get lifted as much. That's what happened 2 or 3 times at JMU. He kept his hands off. Again, they didn't have as much on the interior without Gaston playing, so it helped. But that was important. I thought he tried to right that wrong that he had on Friday.
Tony, do you think you'll use hockey line changes a lot this year?
Yeah.
Is it a one-game thing?
Well, right now I feel comfortable with, playing. I got to get a feel for our rotation. You guys have asked me this before. What do you think you can play comfortably? And I say, well, 8 or 9. Well, right now I feel comfortable with 10. And that doesn't mean that a guy like B.J. Stith could get in the rotation in time. A lot of things happen. But right now it is. And the first half, if you noticed, I played Evan more as a 4. Second half, we said, okay, we got 3 perimeters. Let's play him more as a perimeter. We got a sub for each perimeter. And then we have the 2 interiors with, we used Darion and Isaiah. So that was 10 deep. But I'll have to keep feeling that out and seeing how guys are playing. But it'll, again, the positives, depth, competition in practice, different looks. And then the negatives are it's sometimes hard to know exactly which rotation to go with.
Tony, Isaiah didn't play as much as the other night. Is that an Evan thing? Does he move kind of a rung down because Evan's back in the lineup, or?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, in the first half, I wanted, Evan hadn't played. I wanted to get him out there early, knock down a 3, and just get a feel. I think different situations will call for that. But in the second half, I said, all right, let's use Evan. Let's look at him. I mean, it was a little bit of experimenting, really. I used Evan as a perimeter, as I said, with 3 kind of guys off the bench, Devin, Mariel, Evan, and then we went to I like 5 guys for 2 spots, unless there's foul trouble or something, can be tough. I think that's got to be 4, and you just got to figure out who's playing the best, what's working, and yeah, in the first half it probably affected his minutes, but I thought, again, both of them gave us some nice things.